hello, beautiful souls. This is Trauma Addiction Recovery Coach Sonia, and I am so excited because this is my YouTube channel. I've created a group, private group called Breaking Barriers, and I am building a community, and I am so excited. This is a private group to support and uplift and educate also and coach people that need it. So how are you all doing today? So let me tell you all that tonight is gonna be, we're gonna be diving deep into my journey from pain to hope. But before I begin, I want to let you all know that I am Hispanic and my native language is Spanish. So please, if I mispronounce a word, please be mindful and understanding because my first language is Spanish. And yes, it's not that I'm not educated. I am very highly educated. It's just that my words kind of like miscross because I'm trying to do the English, but I want to say it in Spanish, and I'm so used to talking in Spanish as well. So just bear with me. Other than that, we're going to have a great night. And I want to firsthand thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for forming part of this community. Thank you for your love and support. And I'm telling you all, we are breaking barriers. We are going to break the barriers of childhood trauma, addiction, unhealthy behaviors, depression, anxiety, mental health, domestic violence. We are breaking barriers. We are going to smash them walls down through Christ. Because, yes, in my journey from pain to hope, I want to tell you all my own personal story and how my journey has been with Christ through my side and how my story was before I decided to turn my life to God. And this is my true and honest story. Okay, so let's begin. So, hi again. This is Trauma Addiction Recovery Coach Sonia, and tonight I want to share a story of pain, from pain to hope. And this is my story, my struggles, my hurt, my pain, my addiction, my path that I was taking of destruction, how it has transformed to something bigger than myself, thanks to God's love and mercy. So, I'm going to begin speaking to you about where everything started. And when I was a child, I saw and went through things that no child should bear. And things that really hurt me. They hurt me and caused so much pain, leaving scars that stayed with me as I grew. And instead of me turning to God, which I knew God since I was a child because I was raised as a Christian, um, I lost my hope somewhere on the way. And as I continue to tell my story, you will all learn what really happened and how everything started. So when I was a child, I was sexually abused by family members, right? And also by persons outside our house. And it was like this happened before I even turned 5 years old when the abuse started. And I have total memory and recollection um of this happening to me. It's not made up, it's not a dream. It happened to me because it happened for years. So I was sexually abused, I was verbally abused, I was physically abused. And then adding to that, I was living with a single parent in a single parent home, which was when we were being raised. Me and my siblings were being raised by my father. My mom was not in the picture at this time. They had an unhealthy relationship and they had separated. So I needed my mother. I needed my mother, and I felt like if she would have been there, she would have been able to protect me, but that didn't happen. So as a child, you don't know how to cope with all this traumas and everything that is happening to you, the abuse. So I actually kind of like disassociated myself, and I started to have negative behaviors. misbehaving, acting out, even in school, getting in trouble because I was trying to get the attention, but I was trying to get the attention the wrong way, because I was hurting and I didn't know how to deal with that hurt and that pain. So I actually disassociated myself, and I created this other strong child that was rebellious and didn't care, and felt no pain, and nobody could hurt this child because I was trying to protect me. So we'll talk about that in another YouTube episode about the disassociation. But I want to continue sharing to you that I felt shame as a child, and no child should feel shame at the age of 5, 6, 7. And I'm telling you, when I was 7, if you asking yourself right now, did you tell anybody? Did you even? When I was 7, I have a my memory works very well. When I was 7, I told a family member, somebody that I trusted, somebody that took me to church. I told this person, with what was happening, and the response was, I got a beating. I got a beating. And the beatings continue because I was a liar, because I made it up. And then it turned into I'm provoking this other person that is supposed to be an adult and is causing this pain to me. So I didn't want to take the beatings no more. So as a child, you'd rather say, yes, I lied, and believe that you lie in your head. You want to believe this lies because you don't want to endure no pain. So I learned as a child that it was better not to say, because if you told the truth, you were going to get a whooping. Not just a regular whooping, you were going to get beat and constantly reminded how horrible you were and what a liar you was and all this. And then the other thing was that one of the persons causing this pain to me, I remember very clearly, like if it was yesterday, I remember him telling me after he abused me that if I told my father would come and fight him, and then the police would come and the police would take my father away, and I would have to go live with this other person, and they would separate my brothers and sisters. They would separate us all, and my father would go to jail again. That resided in my head. Like I didn't want to be responsible for my dad going away. My dad was the only person that loved us at that point. That I feel that my dad was the only person that could protect us from these monsters, and I feel like I didn't want to lose my dad. So I just kept quiet. I kept quiet. And it hurts right now. Like it's hard for me to speak about it, but I want to be honest and speak about my journey, how I carry all this pain, and not only pain, but I also carry hatred and anger within me, because the people that caused this pain as I grew, and at a certain point of my life, my father of my childhood, at a certain point of my childhood, my mother and my dad got back together. At this point, I'm 11 years old, and I remember my dad had an accident, and I'm 11, and we have to move from everything I know, my elementary school friends, my neighborhood where we've been there for like 5 years, and all my friends, and we have to move to this other place where they just bought a house, and my mom and my father just decided to restart the relationship and work it out. And I was so confused, and I was mad because they were taking everything I knew that made me happy as a child. And my best years of my life in this place, this apartment where we lived with my father and the friends, where I felt safe once I started going to school. And now you want to take me out of here. And now my mom is back in the picture. But now I feel like now I'm 11. I have turned into a young lady by now, and I feel like I don't need you no more. Why? Was you here? I'm grown now. Even though I was still a child in my head, I knew how to cook. I knew how to clean. I was making sure that my sister was getting dressed for school. My older brother used to walk us to school. My older brother used to pick us up from school. We ate by ourselves at home because our dad worked very hard, and most of the time, like I feel like I'm grown now. Like, why is you here? I'm grown. It's too late. But at the same time, I needed my mother. And at the same time, I didn't want her to leave again. So I was kind of like, I was trying to clinch to my mom, but I didn't have a mother daughter relationship. I felt like my mom was distant from me. And I feel like my mom, still, when she got back with my father, there was still a lot of drinking going on, and it was an unstable relationship, marriage. And I feel like disconnected from her. So as I continue to grow, then this family members that caused this pain to me, and the abuse, the sexual abuse and everything, started visiting our house now that my mother was here. And that just created a turmoil in my life, because now I had to put up with these people coming in our house and smiling and laughing and sitting down in the living room like we were a whole happy family. And inside of me, I'm tearing apart and I'm hurting, because this is the same people that caused this pain to me for years. And now I gotta smile at you and let you hug me and put your hand around me like we a happy family, and pretend like sing kumbaya. I don't know, but it wasn't right. It wasn't right. So I was mad and I was angry. I had so much pain inside of me, just building up, and it was destroying my life as a child. So by the time I was in middle school, I started realizing I was always being compared with my sister. My sister was a good one. My sister was a smart one. Yes, I was smart. I know I was smart. I had good grades. I played sports in school. I might not be the best, but I had good grades and I was smart. But at a certain point, I started saying, if you don't care, why should I care? And if I'm good, you don't see the goodness. I mean, you only see the bad. So I will show you the bad. So I disassociated completely, and I started getting involved in unhealthy behaviors because I was trying to fill a void. I needed to feel that I belong somewhere. So I started hanging around with the wrong people and calling this my friends and my family. And I started skipping school. And every time somebody would bully somebody, I would fight the bully because I felt like this other person needed protection. And just how I wasn't protected, I wanted to protect this other person that was being bullied. So I started getting in trouble in school, getting suspended. And that's how my childhood trauma affected my adolescence as well. This was like long-term effects, to be honest. Like it was like not only as a child this happened, but it affected my adolescence, and then it affected as I grew into a teenager, because by the time I went to high school, my relationship with my mother was very toxic as well. I was answering back to my mom. I was rebellious. I didn't care no more. All I wanted to do, I felt like she didn't love me, and that she was always criticizing me. I feel like I was always the you know how they call the black sheep of the family. That was me. That was me. And I know I did. I I have a lot of that blame to carry and put on myself. I do, because I understand what happened to me, but that was my way of coping. I did not know any better, because I wasn't able to heal. I wasn't able to have somebody to sit down with me and tell me what happened to you was wrong. And I'm sorry that you went through this, but we're gonna get through this together. And let's see what we can do to help you. I didn't have that. And I still had to carry all this pain inside of me because I was still not able to speak about it. And it hurts to just sit here, but I want to share my journey because I want you to understand that I've been there. So when I call myself a trauma addiction recovery coach, and when I created this group, Breaking Barriers, I created putting God first, because all my transformation, my journey, all the glory is to God. And I will lie to you if I sit here and tell you, oh, God is gonna heal you and change your life. You have to put the work, baby. It doesn't work like that. God will be there. God will provide, but God will give us tools. If you're sick, he'll put, there's a doctor, there's a hospital, there's a surgeon. If you need faith, God will give you that faith by prayer on our knees. If you're struggling with addiction, God has put recovery centers there, institutes that can help us. But if we don't want to go and do the work, God is not going to come down here and sit with us and hold us until we break, even though He can do it because He has the power to do it. That's not the way it works. And it took me a long time to see this and understand this, because at a certain point, I started blaming God for what I was going through. And at this point now, I'm 19 years old and I have two children now, and I have a husband who is an alcoholic. But I didn't see him as an alcoholic because I was raised where there was always alcohol involved. So that was normal to me. My husband was my friend. We laughed, we joked, we went out, we had fun. But when he was drunk, he was a whole different person. This person transformed into a monster, abusing, the beating starting. The abuse started nonstop. But sober, and I guess I could relate to him because I felt like sober, you're just like me. We got so much pain carrying. I don't know what you went through, but I know what I went through. But when you drunk, I realized that I don't know what happened, but let's continue. But I realized that I I actually would understand and condone his behavior. I would put excuses for him for his actions because at the same time, I didn't want to lose my husband and I didn't want my kids to live in a single parent home. I wanted them to have a family that I didn't have. But by staying in this relationship, I didn't help. That didn't help the situation. That didn't change. It just got worse. And now years passed, and now I have 5 children. Our relationship is unhealthy. It's abusive, way out of hand. I'm covering up bruises with my clothes, going to my family's house, visiting, smiling, having parties at the park, putting a mask on like I'm happy and smiling. Everything is great because I didn't want nobody to know that I'm failing. That the same thing I said I wouldn't do and wouldn't happen to me happened to me. And I didn't understand why. Why this happened to me as a child? Why this happened to me? But it wasn't to me to understand the why. Because now I know why. Because God had a purpose for me. And what happened to me only made and created this strong woman that you're seeing right now in front of you. Because even though I went through all this, they couldn't break me. Yes, it tore me apart. And it destroyed a lot. It did so much damage because I became this person I didn't want it to be. And the person I judged the most and blamed the most, and in my head, supposedly I hated, which was my mother, I became this person because I ended up being in prison. And my father ended up raising my children. By this time, my father has changed his life. By this time, my father is has recovered from alcohol. And I want to take a moment to thank my father for all his love and all his support. He might have not been the best of dads, but my dad was never abusive. And he is the best grandfather, and he is the best role model as a man that I can have besides my older brother, honestly. And I'm telling you, my father raised my children, and my children are good. And I have a son in the army, and I have a son in the National Guard. And my mother-in-law raised my daughter, and she's great. And she just finished and graduated from business college and everything, beauty college. And I am so proud of my children. I did not have a relation before with them. I was never denied my children. I would see my children, but I was not consistent. And then I started getting into this other healthy relationship because I was trying to fill the void. I separated from my husband. Now I'm trying to fill the void. I'm trying to find myself and fill all that void that I want to feel. I want to be loved and needed. And I'm trying to fill the void with all this, but I'm coping with drugs because I'm trying to numb the pain because I don't know how to feel and how to live. And I have lost purpose in life, even though with my children, but seeing my failure, seeing what I had become, I started coping with drugs to numb the pain. And this tore me apart because this pain just got more intense and bigger. It was like I was digging a bigger hole where I was burying myself. And it was the shame and the guilt because now I'm taking from others, and now I'm being manipulating so I can get my drugs, and I'm being selfish but not trying to stop and change to be there for my children. Now the excuse is I wasn't there, I wasn't good enough, and I'm a failure. So I'm just gonna numb the pain with these drugs and numb the pain because I hadn't healed from my past traumas. And not healing from your past traumas will destroy you. So I'm telling you right here, I am not a pastor and I am not a saint. I have walked them streets and I have been in addiction and I have been in the border of death and I have been through it. I've seen it and I've done it. And yes, I regret most of the actions I did. I do regret it. And I still have to live with this because like I said, I carry my scars of what happened to me and what I caused to myself with my actions as an adult because I took too long to say I need help. Because every time my family tried to help, I said, I don't need help. I got this. I'm not an addict. I don't have a problem. I use because I want to. But no, I was still masking my pain and I didn't know how to cope. But for that moment, I was free. For that moment, nobody could hurt me. But it wasn't helping because now my problems were bigger. Now I'm broke. Now I got to worry about another bill. The problem's still there. And not only that, but now it's worse. And guess who paid the consequences? My children were paying the consequences. My loved ones were the ones worrying about me, what would happen to me, if they would receive a call about me being alive or dead. It, it, I hurt so much people along the way. And it's hard to sit here and just share this story with you all. And honestly, um, I had to be honest and I had to let you know because I want you to know where I come from. And the reason why I decided to turn my life around and build breaking barriers and go my own way because like I was wish she's taking her life back, but I feel like that it was not my purpose because I want to say what God did for me. It, yes, I had therapy, I had counseling, I went to recovery because yes, like I said it before, I'm not a saint, I've been on there, but God has been there with me through all this process. Even in my darkest moments, God was with me. And I didn't understand that. And I didn't believe that at a point in my life because I felt that it was me and I was alone. But if I would have been alone, I wouldn't be alive right now. And I know that because I had a gun held to my head because I've been left for dead in the streets. But I'm still here because God had a greater purpose for me. Because God said, I'm not done with you. Because I'm here to help others. Because I want to turn my pain into hope. This is my journey. This is my true God calling. I want to be able to help others. That's why I build Breaking Barriers, to build a strong community. So please join. We are on Facebook. It's called Breaking Barriers. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to be able to build a community and be able to help others. There's so much I want to do. I'm going to be out in the streets of Atlanta, um, feeding the homeless, bringing clothes to them. I'm gonna try to be speaking to the Hispanic community, and I'm gonna be going live when I do these things. And this is not coming from I'm not making no money. I'm not making it's gonna come out of me, and God will provide. And if we have a supporting community out there that says, hey, we want to pitch in, we want to help out in what you want going on, it's going to be welcome. They can inbox me for that. But there is change coming. because my call is not just sitting here and recording a video, which I know it could help a lot of people, but my calling is also out there in the streets. And although I have a full-time job and I am a mother and my son is autistic and I have my other family and I have my daughter that had a baby and she always calling me and needing advice, I'm still a trauma addiction recovery coach and this is my purpose. So I just want to share with you. I just want to share with you about my past. I, I manipulated. I cheated. I not cheated like my spouse or that I never did that. But what I did is I cheated on my family. I cheated people out of their money. I betrayed my family's trust. I betrayed my children's trust as well. I lied just to get my own way. And there was that point in my life where I was with this my second relationship, and it was a really unhealthy relationship. This person was a narcissist, and I remember very clearly he used to laugh at me and say, "Nobody will take you with 7 kids. You're nothing. You're never gonna be nothing. Your family don't love you. Nobody cares about you, and I'm the only person you have, and I'm the only one that would be here with you." And I felt like I started to believe what he would tell me, like I really started to believe these things, and it was tearing me apart, and my addiction was just getting from bad to worst. So it hit me hard, and I realized that I was not only hurting myself, like I said, and I was hurting my children, my family. My children had graduated at this point. I miss birthdays, I miss graduations, I miss Christmas. I miss taking them to plays, taking them to football games. I missed all this. And I'm grateful that God gave me a second chance. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, every time I try to turn my life around, when I tell my family I'm not an addict and I got this, I did turn my life around. Well, I didn't turn my life around. I did went and got help, and I did went to recovery, and I came out. Or when I was incarcerated, and I came out, and guess what? I stayed clean for half a year, maybe up to 2 years. But every time a trauma resurfaced or another traumatic event came up, bam, I'm back to the same path I know, which was getting high so I can numb my pain once again. I was right back to where I started, where I said I wouldn't go back because I was trying to do it on my own. Because I kept telling myself, I got this. God said, no, you don't. I got you. That's what God said. I got you. You're mine. And I know this because every time the devil attacked me, God said, not today. Not today. So this is my story. This is my journey from pain to hope. So I went to recovery. I left my hometown. I went through therapy. I went through counseling. I'm doing the work. God's been here side to side with me. And the glory is to Him. I could not have done this without Him. Yes, I needed therapy. Yes, I needed counseling. Yes, I still do therapy. Yes, I do a lot of research. Yes, I continue to educate myself. Yes, I'm still getting certifications because I have to do the work. I cannot just sit here and wait for God to come down in a cloud and say, here you go. I have to do the work. I have to read my Bible. I have to give thanks to God. I have to give to others. I can't just expect, give me, give me, give me, give me. Hold on. What am I doing to receive? So now I stand here, still carrying the scars of my past, but also feeling hopeful for the future. I've learned that my past does not define who I am. Did you hear that? My past does not define who I am. And I have the power to shape my own story. Thanks to God. I have the power to say no, not today. I have the power to say I want to be loved and I deserve to be loved and I am beautiful and I am strong and nobody can take that away from me. And I am grateful to God because thanks to this journey and transformation from pain to hope, I've managed to build a relationship with my family. I have a great relationship with my father, with my mother, with my brothers, with my sister, but most of it, and for all, with my children. I have a job, I have a roof over my face, and I have a husband that loves me and supports me on everything and on my dreams. I am grateful. And like I said, I am not a pastor and I'm not here to preach to you because if you want me to talk to you, I can talk to you like if we were in the streets. But you do not want to meet that person, trust me. But God got something for me, and God said He's going to use me however He feels that is necessary for Him to use me to transform lives, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna let the Holy Spirit speak through me because, like I said, I ain't no saint. I'm not a person that go to church 24/7. I don't sit here and preach the word, but I'm going to tell you that without God, we are lost because I've been there, because I had it all and I lost it all, because I had fake friends, because I searched for love and try to fill the void in all the wrong places. But if I would have reached out to Him, if I would have reached out to Him, He would have fulfilled me. But I didn't do so. But still, even me making the wrong choices, even me looking at the wrong places, He still stood beside me. He kept saying, "You're mine. Remember, you're mine. I created you." And that voice stayed. And even though the devil was here telling me, "You're good, you're good," God was not letting me go. So even though there's still a tough road ahead of me, I am not afraid anymore because I am not walking this path alone, but with God by my side. And I know that as long as I stay true to God and myself, I will keep moving forward and I will continue to find the peace and I will continue to fulfill my purpose. And I don't have to search no more because I found my true passion in God. And like I said, this is my journey from pain to hope, from feeling lost to finding the way. And if there's one thing I could change about my story, one thing I could change about my past, I wouldn't change anything. I would not change anything. No matter how dark things may seem or may have been, there's always a way out. And if you're willing to keep fighting for it, we are here to support you and God is there. All you have to do, knock, ask, and you shall receive. So thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for listening to my journey. This was my story. Thank you for taking the time to listening to this. I hope this can bring some inspiration to you and know where I come from, what I've been through, how my journey of me becoming a trauma addiction recovery coach began. And I just want to say that I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for your support. And please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is my first live going out for breaking barriers. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's build a community. Let's uplift one another. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please put them on the chat box below and I will respond to your questions or your comments. Thank you for joining. Anything that you want to ask about me, about my journey of transformation, any questions that you have that are personal, you can always inbox me But remember, subscribe to YouTube channel, and you can also find us in our private group on Facebook. It's called Breaking Barriers. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is trauma addiction recovery coach Sonia.